Thank you guys so much for clicking on the video and coming to check out the first episode of DIY Hunny Do. Channel really born out of a desire for me to start a YouTube channel and not really knowing what I was going to do that about. A lot of projects around here for me to complete, and I thought, why not just film some of the projects that I'm going to be doing, and they are my Hunny Do items. Now, my Hunny Do items may be very different from yours. We've got some vehicles to work on, 4 as a matter of fact, or 4 older vehicles that need to be put back on the road. We've got a 2001 Camaro, a 1957 Chevrolet 4-door that needs to be completely restored and gone through, and 2 square body Chevrolet pickup truck short beds. And so, you know, we've got stuff like that. And then, you know, I've got some trailers. I've got a lawnmower here that needs a retrofit for a weight system, which is the episode that you're going to see today. And we're currently working on that. I did already record the intro to this video earlier today, but as I was sitting down to edit some of the footage tonight, I realized that I screwed it up. So I'm back out here tonight filming this intro for you guys. Hopefully I don't get too long-winded and start blabbing at the mouth too much. If I do, just go ahead and hit that skip forward button a little bit, and you can go right on to whatever part may interest you more. Most importantly, we've got a piece of property that we purchased in Kentucky. Now, we are in a random place. My wife and I have lived since 2013 or so, and we're from Kentucky, and so we bought property last year in Kentucky. We've got 3 acres raw land that needs to be developed, and part of the projects in order to be able to get there and get that done is we've got a covered trailer out back that needs some retrofitting. It's going to be my tool trailer. It'll end up being a camper while we're developing the property and getting a place built and things of that nature. So a lot of different content, you know, from construction to automotive to small engine to, you know, painting and whatever comes up. You name it, and I will probably do it, with the exception of, you know, some really sketchy and dangerous stuff. I will probably avoid. Well, I don't know. I do a lot of sketchy things too, so I guess you'll just have to stick around and find out, okay? So in any event, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Again, thank you so much for coming to check us out. And please let us know what you think in the comments. Like, subscribe, and share the channel with others. Appreciate you guys. All right, guys, so the first project is we're going to work on this lawnmower right here. Now, there's nothing wrong with the lawnmower. It doesn't need anything. It mows just fine and, you know, does lawnmower things. And the problem, not necessarily the problem, but the lack on this thing is I made this hitch. All right, guys, so I'm going to jump in here and kind of voice over real quick and just let you know I included too much detail in this, and so I just wanted to kind of narrow it down. Basically what I'm saying here is that I made this hitch that you see on the back. It just mounted off of a bagger mount that was on the lawnmower whenever I purchased it. And I've got a couple of trailers in the backyard that I need to move around with this, and using that hitch system right there. The bigger trailer that I have, the enclosed trailer, it just picks the front end of the lawnmower up off the ground, and I can't move it anywhere. I can attach it, but I just can't move it anywhere. So this is just me kind of going through, showing you guys what this is and explaining everything behind it. But I didn't want to get too long-winded and bore you guys with anything. So basically that's an explanation of what this is and why we need to create a counterweight for the front of the lawnmower to be able to move stuff around. All right, guys, here we are in the backyard, and this is the subject at hand. So this is the trailer for which I need to build the weight rack for the front of the lawnmower in order to be able to tow it out of the backyard and get it around front. Now, I used to be able to come in between the houses right here with my pickup truck and back into the backyard and hook up this trailer and pull it out and get it out front. My neighbor built a fence and makes it impossible for me to get my 3500 back here and get to this trailer. So that's how we find ourselves in the situation of needing to build a weight rack for the lawnmower. And this thing needs to be cleaned up. It is bad dirty. And Florida is not kind to things that you just leave sitting, especially when you leave them sitting underneath these trees with the Spanish moss and stuff. Man, it absolutely grows this, I don't even know what you use, it's a funk. It's I don't think it's mold, but I don't know what it is. Either way, it does a pretty nasty job on it. Well, okay. I just learned something new about this lawnmower that I've had for 5 or 6 years. Apparently, it is not that difficult to take the hood off. Apparently, it's a lot easier to take it off when you don't mean to. There we go. See, simple. All right. Now, get some measurements.
This is 5 inches outside to outside. Center to center is about 4.5. And 1 inch up.
All right, so we got our holes laid out on pieces of steel that we're going to attach to the side of the frame. 2 holes, and we're going to drill this first piece, check fitting it, and then if everything's good to go on this one, we'll just drill the other one the exact same way. A little bit of cutting oil, aka motor oil. Got some 3/8 stainless, I believe, hardware here, carriage bolts with the square index on the back side. These holes in the frame are square. So let's see if our measurements line up. Short. Not much. We got the second one drilled out here. Let's see if I did any better with these measurements. Yep, that one's dead on. So the other one wasn't bad. It was like an 1/8, a heavy 1/8 or so out, which is why I had to elongate one of those holes. But this one fits really nice, and the edges aren't really cut straight, but whatever. I mean, we're not building a rocket ship here. This is a weight rack for a lawnmower that may get used 2 or 3 times. So I'll show you. I had to kind of reformulate my plot, as Eminem says. So what I discovered is I was trying to figure out how I was going to weld the square stock on here onto that flat bar, that flat plate that I mounted to the frame. Come on, dude. What I discovered was that whenever I went to put the square stock on the face of this flat plate, it was going to get in the way of taking the nuts off of these bolts whenever I want to remove it. Now, if I was just going to leave it on here forever, that wouldn't be a big deal, but it is something that I'm only going to use probably, occasionally. And so it doesn't need to be on here full time, and I don't want to carry those weights around all the time. So I wanted to be able to take it off. So I still needed this flat plate right here in order to space out away from the frame and get away from this hardware here, which is factory. And now I just took this angle iron, cut it down to the same size, and then drilled out the bolt holes to match the flat plate. And what I'll do is I'll just weld that flat stock either on top of this angle iron or underneath. I'll probably just put it on top and be done with it. We got those flat plates that we cut, that flat stock plate there, and then with the holes drilled, bolted, along with the angle iron cut to the same size, also drilled and bolted to the frame. Then I've got this clamped with a vice grip onto that angle iron. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out my stick welder here in a minute, and I'm going to try to run a bead on each side of this so that I've got enough weld to hold 150 pounds 18 inches from here. So these are 18 inches long from here to there, and then I left a little bit of slack here in the back just so I could run a little bead of weld on the back side. Not that it's going to make that much difference, especially with my welding skills. None of this stuff has been cleaned, has been wire wheeled, has been nothing has been done to it. In fact, it's probably got sweat and dirt and all other kinds of junk, along with the fact that it's been sitting in my garage for over a year in humid conditions here in Florida, and so it also has some surface rust going on. But either way, we've got this piece cut for the other side. We're gonna fire up the welder and see if we can burn this in and try not to burn through anything else. It's also worth noting, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the battery. Not that it would probably make a whole lot of difference on the lawnmower, but I don't want to take a chance on burning up any of the charging system or the ignition system or anything like that. So don't need to cause any more projects for myself. So I'll go ahead and disconnect that, and then we'll get started. So this is my little welding setup. It's Lincoln, I think it's Lincoln, yeah, Lincoln AC 225 arc welder, aka stick welder. This is very readily accessible machine. I found this brand new on Facebook Marketplace. I think I paid 250 bucks or 300 bucks for it. Cheap little stick welder, some welding rods that I got at Harbor Freight, and some cheap, not cheap steel from Lowe's, and we're gonna see if we can put this thing together. Stick around. All right, guys, I'm gonna start this off, pack it with 60 amps on this 6011 line, and see how that goes. And do the best that I can not to burn through this stuff. Make sure I'm on the right setting here. All right, here we go. I need a little more amperage. We'll bump that up to 75. And yes, I know these are not welding gloves, but no more than what I'm doing here. I think these will be fine as long as I'm not grabbing the no-no stuff, the hot stuff. And it was at this point that I got severely frustrated with my stick welder and decided to use my cheap little wire feed flux core setup and just try to figure it out that way. Wire speed up. There we go. So we're set on high heat and 50% wire speed. From 0 to 10, we're on a 5. So again, those of you that know what you're doing may very well be laughing at me and, you know, the mistakes that I'm making. But, you know, I'm just trying to figure it out. So if it doesn't work, you know, no big deal. I'll just get angry about it and throw things and then go back to the drawing board and probably do the research that I should have done initially. Let's show you guys this professional job we got going on here, man. Look at that. Stacking dimes, son. Stacking dimes. Oh my God, what a mess. Anyway, grinder and paint, as they say, makes me a welder or something like that. Anyway, that's the little camera set up over there for a wide shot, and here's a close-up, and I tell you what, I'm not going to be getting any welding jobs anytime soon. All right, let's see if we can clean this crap up. All right, let's bring you guys in here. So this is what we got on this side. A daggone mess. And then I tried to get on the inside there and I just can't reach it. So I'm going to have to take these bolts out down here and then weld them on the bench. This side turned out a little better. When I say little, I mean not by much, but it is a little bit better. So anyway, same deal over here. I'll have to pull the bolts out and take it over on the bench. The wooden bench, the wooden welding bench. I'm sure you guys are gonna get a kick out of that. And yeah, we'll finish welding these things up. So here's what we've ended up with after part of a day in the garage, maybe 3-4 hours. Mocking this up and cutting everything, drilling, welding, and yeah, so all right guys, so that about wraps it up for the amount of time that I have to spend filming today. And got a date with the wife tonight, and so we're gonna get cleaned up and go out and have a date night. Almost forgot. Shout out to Andy's little homestead. Let her wobble. Good morning, everyone. It is a new day here at DIY Hunny Do, and yesterday we started the project on putting the counterweight on the lawnmower and building the counterweight for the lawnmower. And so today we're going to continue with that project and get it finished up, and hopefully we will get the trailer hooked up and see whether or not this thing works. So check it out. All right, guys, what we have here is the two mounts, frame mounts that we built yesterday. And I discovered today that this one on the left side of the mower is about a 1/4 inch longer than this one. So I wasn't too exacting and precise with my measurements, and you know, I just welded those on where it looked right to the rails on the frame there. So clearly I was about a 1/4 inch out on this one. So we're going to trim this off right here, just to kind of make this straight. There we go. Bandsaw makes quick work of that. Alright, so now we have the surface cleaned off on either side and the top, and a mark 3 inches back from here. Now I made these 6 inches long, so half of the length will be welded and supported here on the square tube, and then the other half will be available to stick out just a little bit further and then give us the surface to mount that square tube across here. All right, guys, so here's what we're looking at now. This is the piece from if you're sitting on the lawnmower from the left side. So basically this goes whoop right there on that side. I just took this off. This is what we welded yesterday, and now this is the end that sticks out the front. So what I'm doing here is just turning this thing upside down like so I can get underneath here. And I already ran a small tack bead across the back side right there, but I'm not gonna rely on that. I'm gonna put a weld bead here and a weld bead there, and then probably one across each of these surfaces here along the back, just to give it as much strength and rigidity as I possibly can with my poor welding skills. I'm sure it'll be fine. It's not gonna look good, but it'll hold. All right, so here's what we ended up with. So, not horrible, definitely not pretty, but I'm pretty sure that that's gonna be more than enough to hold 150 pounds, 12 inches off the front of that lawnmower, considering the steel that we're using. I think it'll be just fine. So let's spray some paint on this one, mount it back on the lawnmower, pull that other one off, and then we'll do the same thing there. And I'm not gonna show you guys that because I don't wanna bore you. Anyway, we'll come back whenever we get both of them welded, painted, and put back on. All right, guys, here's what we've got so far. So we've got these mounted back up here. We've got the angle. Ow, shit, that's still hot. Dummy. Anyway, we've got the angle welded 3 inches from the end. So this square stock stops 3 inches there, and then there's another 3 inches of this angle facing out. So now what I plan to do is take this square stock right here and cut it to length, and it will go right there with those bolts that I showed you. We'll bolt these on, and we'll just set the weights down on there and bolt it down. Yee! All right. Got our marks on here. Center punch these marks. Gotta love these step bits. Just so you guys can see, I wasn't BSing about the strength on these things right here. I'm going to use the gloves because they're still a little bit hot from welding, but I can literally yeah, I think 150 pounds would be just fine. Hood still functions. Now the fun part. Get to set all this weight up here.
wash around the nut on this side.
Woo, boy. Here's the finished product. That is 2 35s, 2 25s, 2 10s, and 2 5s. Now, my Kirksville Elementary math tells me that that's 150 pounds of weights, plus whatever minimal amount of weight the structure is that we put on there. If that doesn't hold the front end of this lawnmower down with that covered trailer trying to pull it out, then I don't think this lawnmower's gonna do it, honestly, because I don't think I can put any more weight on the front end. That's 150 pounds. I might get away with another 50. Here we are, got about 35 pounds of pressure in each tire. Got some old concrete that sit out here that needs to be getting rid of. So throw that in the trash can, a couple other things, get it out of the way. We'll get the lawnmower around here and we'll test out the new counterweight on the front end of that thing. See if I can actually drag this 12-foot covered trailer around front. All right, let's try this. I forgot the combination to the lock on this trailer, so let's see what happens now. The last time I tried to do this, I just couldn't keep the front end on the ground. It kept jumping up, but I couldn't even really move it forward at all. And this is the moment that I forget something that was pretty important. And let's see if you guys can figure out what it was. Definitely a dumb moment for me. Let's go. Wow. That was actually quite satisfying for me. Yeah. And I learned a couple things I want to share with you guys. So first of all, that's where we were parked, and you guys didn't get to see me come all the way around to where it's parked now because the camera is static in one spot. I don't have anybody to film, and I didn't have 2 cameras set up to catch the other side of it. So the first thing that I learned is that I'm awesome, and I did a really good job building that counterweight and designing that, engineering, lots of time and meticulous calculation, and you know, it brought us to where we are today. No, but seriously, I did learn that I should have paid a little more attention to that jack, which I thought was jacked pretty much all the way up, which is why I used the railroad jack to bring the front end of the trailer up. But I didn't realize that it had just sunk. And so when I took off, not only was I dragging the trailer and all the weight in it, but I was dragging the foot of that jack all the way through here, curve around this way because we don't want to hit this, you know. So we curved around this way, and then up here, a little slight right, you know, don't want to take it too hard on the turn. And then we come around here. We make this hard left because we're back into some pretty good ground here. It's not as spongy over here as it is over there. The stuff that stays out in the sun most of the time, it stays pretty hard packed. And yeah, and we curved all the way around here and then backed up about 5 or 6 feet to where we are to realize that the jack was digging in the ground the entire way. And I did go ahead and jack it back up off camera. But anyway, there we go. Mission success. So that will be a wrap for episode 1. Also learned that there was this little concrete stepping stone right here that I never had any idea was here, but I just dug it up with the hitch, or with the jack of that trailer. That'll be a wrap for episode 1 of DIY Hunny Do. I think if anything we've proved here in this episode, that regardless of how big of an idiot you are or how much lack of understanding you have, you can cobble something together. It's the redneck way, you know. Duct tape, a little bit of moonshine, and a hammer, maybe a crescent wrench, you know, we'll get her done. But I hope you guys enjoyed the episode, seriously. Thank you all so much for tuning in and checking out episode 1. Episode 2, we're going to start digging into that trailer. We're going to get it cleaned up, put some new tires on it, make sure we get it roadworthy, and fix anything that we find wrong with it. And that way we can go ahead and set it up as a tool trailer / camper to take back home to Kentucky, put on our 3 acres, and start developing the land there. So thank you guys so much for coming to watch the first episode of DIY Hunny Do. We'll have future videos coming out. Appreciate you guys for coming. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Doesn't cost you guys a thing. It really helps us out. You guys take care, and we'll see you on the next one.